Hi Taurus, welcome to your reading and welcome to Mama Star Your X channel. So Taurus, happy birthday. This particular month, or for the most part, is all about you. But I don't know if you notice the connection right now that we're having with the moon. All of the celestial bodies are behaving in a way that is helping us understand a little bit better the changes that are taking place within our consciousness. But the moon, for me, is really special because the moon is representing who we are internally, the changes that take place within ourselves. And the vibration right now is this solar eclipse that is partial, but it's still an eclipse, which is a behavior of the moon in your sign. And your sign is the area of our lives that represents our wealth. Not just the physical wealth. I mean, we give a lot of importance to that part because it's how we've been taught to behave. But the spiritual one, I mean, think about it for a moment. If you do not understand your power and you don't understand your wealth and your knowledge and how to apply it in your life, you're always going to be seeking outside yourself for those things that you think that are going to make you feel better, when in truth, your inner wealth is what does it. It's what always does it. Everything else is kind of like the icing on a cake. It's extra. And I'm just saying that, Taurus, because you have a 9 of Swords in the recent past. And I don't know exactly what happened here, but I can tell you that by looking at this card, that something happened to you where you let someone else or other people confuse you or make you believe something that is not true, and you chose to separate yourself from your inner truth. You chose to believe those people more than you trusted yourself, in a way that you separated yourself from the source of all information. So you disconnected yourself from the wealth of information that is within you. And that's why you probably felt like this. Concern, worry, upset, disappointed, whatever it was, whatever represented the 9 of Swords. The 9 of Swords shows up when in our journey as the Hermit, we let other people in and through their information dictate our reality. It's kind of like, it's like choosing to not love ourselves and love other people more than we love ourselves. You see, when you're not trusting your guts, Taurus, that's what happens. We take out the love within ourselves. We disconnect ourselves from that source of love because we're made of love. We're made from love. And in this reality, everything is representing an aspect of that love, a frequency of that love. You see what I mean? So the 9 of Swords here tells me that somebody decided to take the love away by disconnecting themselves from their inner being. And as a result, we get confused. And as a result, we let other people that we think that know best tell us what to do. We're not aware that we're doing this. It's not like we're fully aware and we're telling people, hey, you tell me what to do so that I can feel better. No. It's just that we get lost, or confused about our own energy and our own power because we haven't recognized it or we haven't learned what it means. You know, if you don't know yourself, if you don't understand your power as an energy being, not just as a physical one, it's very easy to depend on other people to feel better, to depend on other things to feel better. So the oracle in this particular case is saying, look, your best bet when something like this happens is to go on a hang mode. Go into a hang mode. Just be. That's what the hang mode is, one of the meanings. The hang mode has many meanings. But one of them is, you know what? Just be. Just surrender and relax and surrender within yourself. Okay? Because this is the card that signals a time of needing to take a break. When we are in an uncomfortable situation, as the Nine of Swords is telling us here, we're in an uncomfortable situation, but again, it's an opportunity. Just remember that, Taurus. When we are feeling uncomfortable, it's one of the ways where we can think about things, reflect upon things, because we feel in a very uncomfortable situation. We feel the disconnection. We're not aligning or acknowledging our inner guidance. And the best option is to do what the cards are saying here. On the root, the Hermit, and on the heart, the Hangman. You see what I mean? On the mind, the Moon is the major arcana that is talking. And I'll tell you, when you have the Moon in the mind, this is representing people that are choosing to hold back and they're not telling all the truth. These are people that haven't yet learned to be honest and sincere because they don't know their power. So you can say, oh, it's because they don't want to, or many things, but ultimately, once you start understanding who you are as an energy being, you start realizing that the reason why we're not honest is because we're afraid to be vulnerable. We rather pretend in front of other people than tell the truth because we don't want to be rejected, because we're wounded. We're a species that is wounded, and we are like that because we've forgotten who we are. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know your identity. You don't know how to situate yourself in the world in a way that you're proud about who you are. But we're healing that right now, Taurus. We are in the middle of this healing crisis that it's really incredible, but yet challenging. Because part of this healing is about integration. Integrating aspects of who we are that we have left behind in a drawer because of the experiences that we've had that made us divide ourselves. Because this is about division. This is about fear. But when you use the Hermit, and when the Hermit comes out, it's saying, look, there's no need to be afraid or fearful. If you take the time to search for your own truth, because the Hermit is the card that represents our enlightenment. Search for truth. So the Oracle is basically saying, Taurus, whatever situation you find yourself in, where it's making you think things over in a way that you don't trust yourself or you don't trust the situation, just be. Have your heart and your mind and your physical being just be. Yeah, it's an uncomfortable situation, but when you surrender and trust your heart, something starts happening. Now, in this particular case, when you look at the legs of this being, we see one leg pointing to the moon and the other one pointing to the Nine of Pentacles. And we know that Pentacles is all about stability. It's about doing the right thing. It's about being, having your feet on the ground. And that, to acquire that state or to feel like that, is not based on what somebody else tells you or what kind of decision that other person is going to make. It's about you understanding who you are and seeking the information that you need in order to get you out of this place. Now, that information sometimes may take some time because it's all based on the frequencies that you're sustaining emotionally. It's based on your emotions, how you feel about yourself, how do you feel about this situation, how you feel about the change that you need to make. And if you're not ready to change, but the situation is telling you it's about, it's time to do it, you're going to feel like this. If you're afraid about the choices that you're going to make because you're feeling like there's something really important here that you have to leave behind, and it's something of worth to you, and leaving it behind, it requires you to get into an uncomfortable place where you really don't know how to attain that which you left behind. And yes, you see that you need to get out of this situation, but there are other things that are contributing you to hold back, because you're like, yeah, this is not the ideal situation, but I have this that I value so much, and I don't know how to get it myself. And to leave this behind, it requires me to leave everything, so I have to start all over again, and I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know how to do it. Of course, this is an overall reading, so there are many different situations, and sometimes it doesn't have to be that complicated. Sometimes it can just be that you're waiting for somebody to make up their mind, and that waiting can be a Nine of Swords. Because this is representing a mental state that you're in, that you don't have the clarity that you need. So the Oracle says, hey, just breathe deeply and relax and get out of your head. Now the moon here on the head, again, is just reminding you, look, you need time, because the moon changes. And this situation right now, it probably is reach a fullness, a momentum, where you need to step back, relax, breathe, trust your hermit, okay? Because the energy here that is crossing is the Emperor. And the Emperor in this particular case is representing a person, but it's also representing the choices you're going to make. See what I mean? There are many meanings in this particular situation. So yes, the Emperor, somebody here with the power, where you're waiting for this powerful person to make the choice, but it also represents your initiatives. What do I do? What choice do I make? We have a Six of Cups upside down in the overall energy. And 6 is the Lovers in the major arcanas. So whatever time we invested in this particular situation, there's somebody here who's not responding or is not contributing to this connection. And this could be a marriage. This could be a situation where, it's a long, worn out marriage where people have possessions, they share possessions, and letting go of this marriage can very well make somebody lose some sort of wealth or possessions. But I like to concentrate in you, Taurus. I want to concentrate in you more than the other person, even though you may want to know more about the other person than you. Because when you are aware of your possibilities, everything resolves itself. And it's showing here that by the end of this cycle, overcoming your fears or your insecurities and regaining a sense of wealth or well-being, more than anything, well-being, things are going to work out. There's going to be a conversation here where one of you is going to feel like, hey, let's talk this out. And let's find solutions that can help either one. Let's make an agreement. Because we have the Empress here, and next we have the Two of Cups, and then the Four of Swords. So things are going to work out eventually, but ultimately what matters and what's important right now, Taurus, is you. How you feel about this, how do you feel about yourself, and the type of frequencies that you're creating by the way you're feeling. You see what I mean? Because by the law of attraction, how you feel is what's going to determine the outcome. And I see you here doubting yourself about moving on, because we have the Seven of Cups upside down, we have the Hierophant upside down, and the Magician upside down. So we have two major arcanas upside down and one minor one. And this 7 is representing your movement, the Chariot. You're doubting yourself because you feel like you have a lot to lose in this situation. And you don't know what to do with yourself, and you don't know how to handle this loss. But the Oracle is saying, you know what? There are moments where we need to make a sacrifice and let go of something to gain something. See what I mean? There are moments where we need to let go of something because there's always opportunities in the near future that are going to be better. It's just a matter that you trust yourself, have faith, and hope for the best. And of course, your Hermit and the Hangman are your allies. And time is also your ally. But ultimately, Taurus, the most important thing is you being at peace with yourself. And I'm going to ask you, how do you feel with yourself right now? Are you at peace where you find yourself now? You might have already been in this Hangman mode. You might have distanced yourself from this person or this situation. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling good with that choice? Maybe you have moments that you don't feel so clear, or maybe insecure and you're afraid, but hang in there. Try the best that you can to stabilize your feelings and your emotions and get out of your head just for a little bit. Taurus is one of those signs that always loves to feel secure and make sure that their kingdom is secure. But to tell you the truth, Taurus, in order for us to change for the better, sometimes we have to let go of that stability and get out of our comfort zone. It's taking risk what makes our lives sometimes worthwhile. Of course, there's a big difference between taking a risk, knowing what you're doing, than when you're taking a risk, being totally oblivious to the choices you're making, right? But the Hermit is saying, hey, if you haven't taken the time to search for your own truth and know yourself, this is an opportunity. This can also mean that you're already in this past, because here's where I like to remind everybody that our collective right now is going through a major evolution, major transformation, and we're healing ourselves. And to heal ourselves, it takes all of us to go after our truth and start learning who we are. So this could be you already. The root of the problem is that, you know what, you already know yourself enough. You've been in this search where you're discovering yourself and you're setting guidelines. But you see, here's the thing, Taurus. When you do that, when you set guidelines, because you're learning who you are and you're learning how to value yourself and how to respect yourself and set healthier boundaries, and then you have to test them, because this physical plane is a school. And in this school, you learn many theories, but ultimately you need to apply them. And you know why? Because in the application is that you get to really understand other aspects of that theory. So if you find yourself here in this situation where you had some sort of challenge back here, this experience, it's what's allowing you now understand how you felt, how you mix and fuse your ideas. And with this experience now, you are able to change if there's something that you need to change, so that the next experience are different. See what I mean? That's how we do it. We learn the knowledge and then we have to apply it. And we learn both ways, by learning the knowledge and applying it. You see? Two different types of learning though. The application is always very different, because it always tells us if whatever idea we have in our head, it really works. Or if it really doesn't work. Because we can have incredible ideas in our heads, but if we don't know how to apply it in our everyday life, we don't know whether they work or not. So they're just philosophy. So I feel like the oracle is saying, look, I know this is a very uncomfortable situation. The hangman proves that. But you have a lot of support and a lot of wisdom to be able to achieve the goal you have in mind. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but you're going to be able to achieve it. But you have to be first. You have to surrender to your inner being. You have to trust yourself. You know, don't let other people's insecurity get the best of you. Or don't let your own insecurities get the best of you. And the more you learn about your own energy and your own power, you're going to overcome those insecurities, and you're going to understand your limitations better. Because I'll tell you, when you really learn those aspects of you that you're not very comfortable with, or that you are not able to change, you make a choice knowing your own limitations. You set boundaries that are healthy for you. It's kind of like making an agreement, creating a contract with somebody else. I'm capable of doing this and this and this and this, but these things I cannot do. And being honest, it really helps. When the moon is here, it's talking about the possibility of people not being honest. There is denial, there is deception, there is deceit, but that's because people are not choosing to see the truth, or not choosing to see their truth. So they go into denial. They're negating their reality. So the Empress is coming out to say, hey, I ruled your inner world. And if my inner world is not harmonious, nothing else is. If the Emperor cannot acknowledge the feelings that I have about this situation, and then your world is upside down and you're full of fear because you're not trusting your Empress. So we see the Seven of Cups here upside down. Yeah, we feel like we're not going to attain our goal. I'm not going to make it. You know, it's like, if I take this direction, you know, whatever dreams I've had, they're shattered. And whatever agreements we've made is gone. It's like there's a big loss. So I don't know what to do. But again, the Empress is saying, it's hard to know what to do when you're in an environment that it doesn't allow you to trust yourself. So how can you remain there? So then you need to distance yourself, work with yourself, strengthen your trust in you, and your energy opens up like a flower. The universe comes in with the information, and little by little, you start resolving this issue. You know, we have a King of Cups here upside down, so somebody's not communicating. And whatever they're not communicating, you may feel like there are reasons. And this could be, you know, this could be like signing a contract to buy a home and someone holding back and not telling you that there's something wrong with that property. See what I mean? So the universe would say, move on and choose another opportunity, because something is wrong here that is not being said. And with time, you're going to know if you need to know. It's like somebody's holding back because somebody cannot make their mind. Of course, Taurus, this is not a reading for everybody, right? Not everybody is dealing with the same situation. But if you're here still listening to the reading and then there's something in it that resonates for you. So what's the medicine other than what I've given you? Nurture yourself. Comes with the number 3, the Empress. You see what I mean? A different oracle. I picked a random card and it's coinciding with what I just said to you. The other one is 5, the unexpected visitor. This can very well talk about someone who is coming in your dream to give you a message, or someone that you care about that is coming in and surprising you. But it also can speak about this person coming back unexpectedly. And then the last card came with the number 15, and I don't know why I felt like this is a weird card, because I have never worked with this card before. And this is the Enchanted Map Tarot. And you know, it talks about one ring circus, and I'm like, okay, what is this about? Because we see an elephant. An elephant to me are good luck. We see a person riding this elephant. We see the moon, so I know it has something to do with the moon here. And you know, like, we're in your season and we're going to have 2 eclipses. We just had a solar and now we're going to have a moon, and that's really intense for Taurus, because this is highlighting your wealth. And then we see this rock in the middle of the ocean. It's kind of like a contrast, an image that, you know, you have elements here put together in a very weird way. So I decided to read and see what is the message of this card. And listen to this, Taurus. You are capable and competent. Independence is the key now as you step into your journey today. Others may not have the vision or resources that you need. Recognize that all the wisdom you've acquired along the way makes you particularly competent, capable of moving forward with assurance. Self-reliance is important. Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between you and another. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Independent relationships are always mutually supportive, stimulating, and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time. See what I mean? So that's all I have to say, Taurus. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for listening.